Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I want to speak to you guys about some of the ADHD traits I just personally feel don't get spoken about enough, and when people do speak about them, they don't really speak about them in depth, so they're given kind of just like a flat platform, and actually there's so much more that goes into it, and they're so complex that I think that really needs to be spoken about more, if you get what I mean. So basically I'm just going to give you a brief kind of idea of the traits that I want to be spoken more about, and I'm going to be speaking about these traits in my upcoming videos because, like I say, I don't think they're spoken about enough. So let's get on to today's video, but first, if you could smash me a big thumbs up down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will forever be grateful. So let's get on to the video. Personally, I think a lot of these traits I'm going to talk about don't get spoken enough about because there's a lot to undo and talk about, and it comes with a lot of feelings, a lot of trauma, a lot of kind of emotion, and I think, you know, it's common amongst us ADHDers to try and steer away from that. It's like a fear of rejection, and we don't want people to think that we're broken or need fixing or that we're weird. We just don't want society to think that we're a burden, so we try to like steer clear of speaking about these like things, I think personally. So I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm just gonna take it as a responsibility for me to raise awareness of some of these, because I think they're really, really important, really complex parts of ADHD. So yeah, let's get on. So the first one is hypersensitivity. Now I know this is spoken about a lot, but it's hardly ever spoken about in context with ADHD. I hear it a lot being spoken about kind of with autistic traits, but I rarely ever hear it kind of being spoken about alongside ADHD, and I feel like it could be gatekept a little bit with autistic traits, but ADHDers do struggle with this too. So yeah, I feel like that's number one. I think that's definitely something I'm going to be speaking about on my channel because yeah, I think it's important. So number two, I think is so important, and it's addictive behaviours, like addictive personalities. I honestly think that this is something that needs so much more kind of research, and like people need to speak about it a lot more, because it's quite a dangerous thing to kind of be involved, you know, like it's something that ADHDers really struggle with our lack of impulse control, you know, our kind of, we act before we think, we do things without kind of thinking about things, like being spontaneous, stuff like that. We don't think about things, and it's really easy for us ADHDers to become addicted to things like spending money, drugs, alcohol, sex, stuff like that. Like it's not spoken about enough, so not a lot of people know a lot about it. But again, I'm going to take it upon myself to raise more awareness of ADHD and addiction, because it's really bloody important. So yeah, that's number two. Number three is ADHD and sleep disorders. Now I know, again, this is spoken about enough, but I don't think it's spoken about enough. Like this, it's not spoken about enough. Like honestly, it's not. I really struggle with sleep, and I've learned a lot through research, through watching people's TikToks, but it's very, very hard to come across somebody who actually knows what they're on about. So I'm going to take it upon myself to do some research and to learn a little bit more about ADHD and sleep disorders, and if I can, I might find someone who is maybe a sleep expert or knows a lot about sleep to see if they want to come on to my channel with me and do a collab, because I think, again, it's just such a really, really important and complex and heavy thing to speak about, and I want to make sure I have it 100% right before I give it to you, but I am going to take it upon myself to raise more awareness of that. So yeah, that's another thing that I just don't think spoken about enough. So number four, since speaking about this, I've actually seen a lot of TikTok videos and a lot of content about this, so maybe I'm wrong, but I at the time I felt like I wanted to add this to my list, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you anyway. But it's like binge eating disorder. So like binge eating, again, it's like lack of impulse control, and you know, it's that hit of sugar, that hit of dopamine that we need. We need it, and I think, again, there's something not spoken about too much, not enough, and yeah, I want to speak about it because I actually really struggle with it. So personal experience, I'm going to learn, I'm going to, you know, do some research, speak to people, and hopefully, you know, do my bit for the ADHD community, and yeah, I'm gonna raise more awareness of that. Yeah. So number five, this is one that I really think is really important. It can make or break relationships. It can cause, you know, relationship problems. And again, I just don't think it's spoken about enough, and it's hypersexuality and hyposexuality and how ADHD affects your sexuality. I just don't think it's spoken about enough. You guys know I'm not the most comfortable speaking about this, but I have spoken about it in previous videos, and I know a lot of you guys are really interested, so I'm going to do my bit, do more videos about ADHD and sex, and just talk about it. So yeah, I'm going to do my bit and raise more awareness of ADHD and sexuality. So yeah, that's number 5. Number 6 is something that I really struggle with, and it's really sensitive. It's a really sensitive topic, and I know why people don't want to speak about this, out of embarrassment, feeling ashamed, guilt. So yeah, number 6 is personal hygiene and how ADHD can affect that. I have spoken about it before, but again, it's really sensitive to me, and I struggle to talk about it out of normal emotion. Like, I just worry about people's opinion of me, but I'm not going to. I want to take it upon myself to raise more awareness of that and give you some tips and tricks that I've learned, and yeah, I'm going to speak more about it for you guys, because again, you are not alone. You don't need to feel ashamed, you don't need to feel guilty, you don't need to be embarrassed, because you're not the only one struggling. So yeah, I'm going to take it upon myself to speak more about that on my channel too. Number 7 is emotional intensity. Now, I just don't think this is spoken about enough, and I really think that is because it is not in the DSM. The criteria for diagnosing ADHD really doesn't mention anything about emotions, or like intensity of emotions, or like mood swings. So I think a lot of people try to steer clear of it because there's no like evidence, but as an ADHD, I know full well ADHD does affect your emotional kind of intensity, how you feel emotion, how you deal with it, how you process it. So again, I'm going to be speaking more about that out of personal experience. I'm going to get my mum on here to talk to you guys about me, because it's something I really struggle with, and I know my mum might have some tips and tricks. So yeah, that's another one, number 7, that I'm going to speak more about to you guys. So the last one is number 8, and that is rejection sensitive dysphoria. Right, this is spoken about so much, but I don't feel like it's spoken enough about, as in like how it can negatively impact somebody, how it can impact a relationship, friendship, like the consequences of this. I want to raise more awareness of that, because a lot of people try to, like, you know, glamorize a lot of ADHD traits, and I'm not here for none of that. I don't like none of that. I don't believe in ADHD as your superpower, because it just, for me, it just really downplays how, like, what the severity of ADHD is to some people's lives, and like how disabling it is for some people. So I'm not here for all that jazz. I'm not going to glamorize any of this. I want to speak about the hard, really negative impacts ADHD can have on someone, and give somebody some tips and tricks from my experiences. So yeah, that's what you can expect from my channel. These are the things that I just don't think are spoken enough about, and I'm going to do my bit as part of the ADHD community, as an advocate, as like a YouTuber, as somebody who uses social media to raise awareness. I'm going to do my part and hopefully raise as much awareness around these topics that I just don't think are spoken enough about. So yeah, I hope this video gives you a little bit more of like an insight in what to expect, like what sort of topics I'm going to be speaking about. But yeah, just expect some really good content coming up. I am going to be starting working on a solo documentary piece that is going to document like my whole entire life, like all the traits I had as a child and like all stuff like that. So, you know, this year is going to be great for my channel, and I've been working really hard behind the scenes. I've got book number 2 I'm working on. So yeah, I'm working really hard, so I hope that it pays off, and I hope that it helps to raise as much awareness around ADHD as possible. So yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you on Monday for another Molly's ADHD Mayhem Monday. So I'll see you soon. Bye.